Hello everybody, welcome to the Friday edition of This Day. It is July 11th. I am Michael Taylor, glad to be here as always. We got a great show for you, so let's get right to the information that you want to know. On the show today, we're going to be talking to Fit Brain Club, and from Saddleback Memorial Care, we're also going to be talking to Karen Moore, and we're going to be talking about end-of-life decision-making, how you can, there's going to be a big seminar coming up, and they're going to be talking about all the things you need to know when making those decisions, power of attorney, and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you stay tuned for that one, very important. Then Cole's going to be here with Sports Corner, and then we're going to get an update with Ting. It's the VP of People. I'm a person. You're going to want to know here from Ting about what they're doing here in the community and how the new services are going to affect you. So stay tuned for all that. Right now, though, we want to talk about some Summer Splash Days. We got a good announcement for you. It is back. Kids Summer Splash Day. It's going to be, the first one's going to be July 18th, and the next one's going to be August 1st. It's going to be noon to 4 p.m. over at Pool 2. $5 admission for kids 2 and over. Make sure you get the information right there on your screen. Go get those wristbands and get the grandkids out to the pool. Speaking of pool weather, let's take a check of our weather. We got some nice temperatures for this weekend and into next week. The heat wave is pretty much trickling off as of today. We're going to have cooler temperatures, a little bit of a return of the marine layer in the morning, and then mostly sunny skies for most of the day. Great temperatures in the mid-70s. Let's take a look at our sunrise, sunset while we're at it. Beautiful picture, of course, from Bree from her vacation in Nantucket. Once again, rubbing it in our faces when we all had to stay here and work. Sunrise this morning was 5:49. Sunset tonight is going to be 8:03. If you'd like to send us a picture like Bree did, you can do that very easily. Email us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, let's take a look at some meetings, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Fit Brain Club and Saddleback Memorial Care. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Dr. Faramant. Brilliant Smile has been the premier dental office of Laguna Woods Village for over 30 years now. We take the extra time to understand our patients' unique needs. We truly care about your happiness and dental wellness. We always provide the absolute highest quality of dental work at very affordable prices in a very relaxing environment. Stop by or give us a call and experience the Brilliant Smile difference. We are conveniently located close to Gate 6.
Small gestures of compassion, little leaps of ingenuity, brief moments of bravery. This is Memorial Care, where being the difference makes the difference.
I want to welcome Fit Brain Club back to our program. Grace Carpenter, along with our guest, Karen Moore, registered nurse and advocate for end-of-life procedures and consultations. Thank you guys for joining us. Now, Grace, you have an event coming up on the 22nd that's going to be, that Karen's going to be part of. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, it's Saddleback, Saddleback Medical Center Foundation is co-sponsoring the event with the Fit Brain Club. And so we're going to be, this is like our second annual end-of-life event stressing palliative, hospice, and medical aid and dying. And it's on Tuesday, as you said, July 22nd at 7 p.m. in the ballroom, Sierra Ballroom. That's Gate 12, everybody. Clubhouse 2. We play that game. And the address is on the flyer. It's being advertised. Of course, it's on the screen. But it's being well advertised by even Bridge Builders Club. Everybody's on board for this because we're so excited with the panel. First of all, we have all the hospice and palliative care panel members, including Dr. Truelove, who is the director of palliative care at Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center. And then we have all of the other ones will be Susan Platt and Pamela Rubin Banks and
Michael
Svarek.
There we
He's
go. I was
even
going to
gonna-
let you say that last name.
I know. I've been practicing that. I've been on a few events with Michael, so I can finally say Svarek. And we're so looking forward to it because last year we didn't know if it would be a typical Fit Brain Club event where we get about 60 people. 162 people showed up.
Wow.
And they told wonderful, wonderful stories and questions like, well, what if my primary care says I can't have medical aid and die? So Karen will address that. And she has a lot to say about that.
Well, Karen, let's get talking on that. Now, in California, it passed in 2016. You were helped in terms of advocacy to get that on the books and get that passed in California. So why are you in this field? What drew you to really care about this?
Well, my nursing career began working on an AIDS unit, and I went from AIDS to the oncology unit at Cedars-Sinai. I spent 10 years there doing bone marrow transplant, and then worked in hospice. And so in that line of work, we came across a lot of death. There was a lot of different types of death and dying, and you work with a lot of patients and families. So when I heard that they were working on the law very similar to what we had in Oregon and Washington, I was familiar with, I knew it was really the right thing for California. So as soon as the law was on the books, I started working with hospices, doing talks and getting some doctors here in Los Angeles on board and working with patients so that we can facilitate the entire process.
What were some of the frustrations that you saw in terms of people at end of life that couldn't make the choice of when they wanted to go? Are we talking about pain and suffering? Are we talking about these kinds of things that are just kind of unnecessary?
I think, well, a lot of it is pain and suffering and quality of life. But it's one thing to have a law. Another thing is to be able to use the law. How do we implement it? And I think there are a lot of misconceptions about what the law was. So there were a lot of institutions that, oh, we're not going to do this. We're not going to be involved in this. But the more patients who began to ask, I want death with dignity, or I want that law, people, and I've seen it in the last few years, I know our practice has gotten busier and busier. Every week it's gotten more people calling and asking about it. So generally, LA Patient Advocates consult with patients and families or with hospices. Say a hospice has a family that's asking about death with dignity. They don't do it within their hospice. They'll call us.
Okay.
We go in, talk with the patient and the family, explain what the process is, that here in California, as in most of, now we have 13 states in the United States that have medical aid in dying. New York just passed it, Delaware just passed it. And all those laws are fairly similar. They all use the GI system, meaning that the patient has to drink the medication, or we can also use it rectally so that the medication is absorbed that way. But it's all about the patient and the patient's choice of when they want and if they want to use medical aid in dying.
And then Grayson, bringing this back for the second time, were you surprised at the enthusiasm and the people that came and wanting to learn about this? Especially in this community, you would think these things are all sorted out, they have this all worked out, but people really don't.
Nobody wants to think about it, and they don't discuss it. And one of the big questions that came up to the panel last year was, do we involve our children? And Dr. Drew McMahon and Ulysses, Jansen, they said, even Dr. Jansen said, even his own mother didn't want to discuss it with him. And he said, here, I'm a physician. He said, but we have to discuss it with the families. We have to have everybody on board. And then, like, getting back to the palliative care panel this week, I got a call from a friend who just sounded like she was on death's door, and she sounded terrific yesterday. And I said, you sound really great today. And she said, I got in touch with the social worker on the team, and this teamwork that we're doing is so wonderful. And she said, I can cope now. I have my family on board. See, we have to include the family.
Well, I think there's a lot of misnomers too about understanding what is palliative care
Oh,
as
yes.
opposed to hospice care.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I'll suggest to someone, maybe it's time to call in hospice. Well, not hospice, I'm not dying.
Yeah.
And what is the definition of how people benefit more the earlier they get on hospice because you
Yes.
get a social worker, you get volunteers,
even a
you're
chaplain
getting
if you want.
24/7. You have someone available to help
Right.
manage your symptoms.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think knowing that you have this team on board that's going to help with your comfort and the
Right.
care right up until the end of life is really, really important.
And that's the peace of mind part, right? Again, when you
Exactly.
deal with people and when you get all of this set up and they know what's going to happen, is there a relief, sense of release from that?
Oh, I think there's a
yes.
sense of relief. There's a relief that's knowing that someone's going to be there. Or even if they choose to use medical aid in dying. Okay, now a lot of times I'll get calls from patients, maybe it's an ALS patient, someone who's been chronically ill. They want to know that, hey, I've gotten through the process, it's done, it's there.
Right.
And the way we work, it's 48 hours. So the whole process can take 3 to 5 days, not 2 weeks like some institutions. We can get it done in 3 to 5 days. But then the medication's there and available when and if the patient needs it. We always stress all along, you know you can change your mind at any time. Just because you've gone through the process doesn't mean that you'll use medical aid in dying.
That's right.
It's just there if and when you decide it's
Right.
the right choice for you.
Yeah, and it's like that kind of a directive in terms of like, here's the way I want to go, so people aren't questioning. And I think, do you feel like it, Grace, do you feel like it benefits people to say, okay, I've got all this settled. I don't need the kids to come in and say, here's what should we do?
Absolutely.
And especially if someone falls into a state where they can't communicate
Yes.
anymore, the decisions have been made,
This
right?
woman yesterday said, it's so wonderful that I can now tell my children to back off. They don't need to call my doctors anymore because you know what happens? The family starts calling in the doctors. And especially if you're from whatever, I would say, like I was indoctrinated in the Catholic Church. I always say I'm a recovering Catholic because first we couldn't have cremation.
Right.
Okay, finally I got over that. We can have cremation. Now they have to know that they have the right. And so I have this wonderful testimony that was in the paper in 2007 at Little Company of Mary Hospital up in Torrance, where I was at the time volunteering. And this woman wanted to just take off her oxygen. Sometimes they decide it's something simple as we want to no longer have oxygen. Well, they've been being told that they couldn't do that.
Oh,
And
wow.
so they did this article on her because the chaplain was there with hospice. We have chaplains, palliative, even chaplains. And the chaplain was there, her whole family was surrounding her, and they were removing the oxygen. I mean, how we need this.
But I think also it's understanding what those interventions are.
Right, step by
Sometimes you
step,
give someone
yeah.
a form and say, okay, now we need you to fill out these advanced
Check this
directives
box, check
or
this
the
box.
pulse. And do you
Yeah.
want this? Do you want that? Do you not want that? And I did a program yesterday where we went through and really explained what each of those sections really mean. Because if you're in the doctor's office, you don't have time. Even though Medicare does pay for one end-of-life visit with your physician to talk about these issues. But understanding what each of those interventions are, what they mean, what they don't mean. What happens when you actually do CPR on a patient? What's the likelihood that you'll
Right.
actually come out of the hospital and be back to your regular
Once they
self?
intubate them,
So
then they have
the
to
expert
take
panel
it
is
to
going to
them.
be talking about all of these things and more. So they're going to discuss end-of-life options and preparing for the future. It's going to be Tuesday, July 22nd, 7 p.m., Gate 12, Clubhouse 2 in the Sequoia Ballroom.
Yes.
Grace and Karen, thank you guys so
Thank
much
you,
for joining us
Michael.
and
Thank
and
you.
bringing us a very important
Blessings.
subject here to the village. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks
watching
for your
This
time.
Day. We'll be right back.
Power your adventures with the Subaru Solterra EV SUV. It comes with legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive standard. Built-in fast charging gets you on the road quicker. Everything about the Solterra is advanced. including the technology helping keep you and your passengers safe. Powered by love.
Hi, it's Desiree from Irvine Subaru. Get your new Subaru here with complimentary maintenance included.
What would it feel like to hear better? Many people are trapped in the isolation of poor hearing and don't realize it. Even people that are wearing other hearing aids. No buttons to push or technology to fear. Artificial intelligence and these products do all the work. Don't settle for less. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
Happy summer and welcome to this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and while the middle of the summer is always one of the slower times in sports, we still have a good amount to discuss, so I'll get right to it. Since June 30th, one of the most prestigious tournaments in sports has been underway. The 2025 Wimbledon Championship at the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club in Wimbledon, London has been as exciting as ever. For the men's singles, 10th-ranked American Ben Shelton made his way through the bracket, reaching the quarterfinal round to earn a matchup with arguably the best tennis player in the world at the moment, number 1 ranked Jannik Sinner. But even with an injured right elbow, Sinner defeated Shelton to earn a second appearance in the Wimbledon semifinals, where he will play Novak Djokovic for a spot in the championship match, and that round began this morning at 7:30 a.m. The other American, number 5 ranked Taylor Fritz, now has a chance to reach his first ever final at the All England Club as he made it all the way to the semifinal round. However, in his way stands 2-time defending champion Carlos Alcaraz of Spain, the number 2 player in this tournament. That semifinal round match began today at 5:30 a.m., so it will most likely be over by the time this show airs, although some matches have gone as long as 6 hours. The championship match will be on Sunday at 6 a.m. to see who will be crowned the 2025 men's Wimbledon champion. On the women's side of the bracket, 23-year-old American underdog Amanda Anisimova, the number 13 ranked player in this tournament, has breezed her way through the tournament, earning a spot in the semifinal match. This is her first major semifinal appearance in 6 years, when she became the youngest player ever to reach the semifinal round of a major event. However, the path to her first ever championship appearance was not an easy one. Top-ranked Aryna Sabalenka entered this tournament fresh off her shocking loss in the final round of the French Open to American Coco Gauff. This highly anticipated semifinal match between Anisimova and Sabalenka took place yesterday. The American Amanda Anisimova shocked the world and upset Sabalenka, moving on to the championship round for the first time in her career. The championship match for the women's singles will be on Monday at 6 a.m. Don't miss out on any of the tennis action this weekend, as one of the best tournaments in sports comes to a close. The MLB season is just about halfway over as we approach the All-Star break. The Dodgers are still the best team in baseball, to be perfectly honest. However, earlier last week, one of the all-time Giants greats made history. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning, pitcher Clayton Kershaw delivered his 100th pitch of the night to Chicago White Sox hitter Vinny Capra. A backdoor slider caught Capra looking for a strikeout, marking Kershaw's 3,000th career strikeout, just the 20th person in history to reach that milestone. Dodgers fans greeted him with a standing ovation that lasted 6 minutes, and to make the moment even sweeter, Freddie Freeman won the game for the Dodgers with a walk-off single that capped a 3-run 9th inning. Kershaw is already a World Series champion, 3-time Cy Young winner, NL MVP, 10-time All-Star, and so much more. Now, he's just the 4th left-hander to reach 3,000 strikeouts, joining Randy Johnson, Steve Carlton, and CC Sabathia. To make the stat even more unbelievable, Kershaw is now the only pitcher in history to throw 3,000 strikeouts with an ERA below 2.52. We truly have witnessed one of the greatest pitching careers in history over the last 17 seasons. This weekend marks the beginning of the MLB All-Star Week. The Home Run Derby, arguably the most exciting part of the weekend, will be on Monday at 5 p.m. As of Wednesday, the final 2 spots have yet to be announced, but here are the other 6. Ronald Acuna Jr., Byron Buxton, Junior Caminero, O'Neal Cruz, Cal Raleigh, and James Wood. And here are the lists of the MLB All-Star Game rosters. That game will begin at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, and after the week is over, the MLB regular season will head back to its regular schedule. Earlier this week, the United States dealt with a heartbreaking loss. Mexico defeated the United States men's national team by a score of 2-1 on Sunday to win the nation's 10th CONCACAF Gold Cup trophy as champions of North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. In front of a crowd of over 70,000 people, the U.S. got on the board early as Chris Richards scored the game's first goal just 4 minutes into the match to give the USA an instant advantage. However, after that, it was all Mexico. Mexico had nearly double the time of possession of the Americans. Raul Jimenez tied the match 1-1 after his goal in the 27th minute. Then Johan Vasquez and Edson Alvarez combined for a goal to give Mexico a 2-1 lead in the 77th minute. The U.S. came incredibly close to tying the match in stoppage time, but Mexico was able to hold on to secure a second consecutive victory in this tournament. Mexico now extends its CONCACAF leading tally to 10 Gold Cup crowns all time, 3 more than U.S. MNT's second place total of 7. Now, both teams will turn their attention to the World Cup, which will take place across North America next summer. There was some shocking drama in the world of Formula One racing earlier this week. Red Bull abruptly fired longtime team principal Christian Horner on Wednesday, ending a 20-year stint that included 8 driver Formula One championships and 6 constructors titles. With all that recent success, Red Bull driver Max Verstappen sits in 3rd place in the driver's standings, and Red Bull is in 4th place in the constructor's standings. While that seems pretty good from the outside looking in, apparently it's not up to the standard of Red Bull. It'll be very interesting to see Red Bull's next moves and how the team performs without Horner moving forward. The next race will be the Belgian Grand Prix on July 27th. Lastly, if you're like me and are missing football this time of year, one of the best Netflix shows is back. Quarterback, the documentary series that follows the NFL quarterbacks throughout their respective seasons on and off the field, is back. This season follows Detroit Lions' Jared Goff, Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals, and back again by popular demand, Kirk Cousins of the Atlanta Falcons. This show is a very interesting look about all the intricacies of being a top-tier NFL quarterback, like I said, both on and off the field. With all of that said, enjoy another beautiful summer weekend and tune in to as many sports throughout the week as possible. Be sure to come back next Friday for more news, updates, and highlights from all across the sports world. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.
Do you or your loved ones want to continue living at home safely, but are starting to see signs of Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's, maybe it's recent strokes or falls? Having a caregiver at home can be the best way to keep you in home safely. Home Helpers has been providing caregivers for over 25 years. Call us today or join us at Laguna Cafe for free pie and coffee, and we'll answer your questions about caregiving. It's the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m., and space goes quickly, so RSVP now.
Welcome back, everyone. I have another wonderful member of the Ting team with me now, Karis Hagarty.
Yes.
VP of Human Resources.
That's me.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you being here with us, Karis.
Yeah.
This is quite the undertaking that Ting is undergoing, and as well as our beautiful community.
And we're so excited. We're so excited to be here.
We're so excited. You know, it seems like I'm calling it Team Ting.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll coin that phrase for the next 15 months. You know, their value system, it just seems like it's so in alignment with the value system here in Laguna Woods Village. How are you building a team that is respectful to the community as well as each other? It just seems like a perfect fit.
It does, yeah. And I think that that's really showed up, and the more time we spend here, the more that's noticeable. But I think it comes down to the fact that when we hire people at Ting, we're not just hiring for skill set, we're hiring for heart. So what we look for in people isn't just necessarily their technical competencies or their skills or their experience, although that's really important. We want to make sure that we hire people that bring with them a sense of empathy, compassion, a real focus on customer service, and collaboration and being able to work together, as well as being able to overcome obstacles and be resilient. So, yeah.
Right, because for the most part, the technicals you can teach.
Right.
And
That's
instead of
it.
on-the-job training.
Absolutely.
So I think more and more companies are hiring from the heart.
That's it. And we have a set of operating principles at Ting. We have 5 core operating principles, and it's really about how we show up for each other and how we show up for our customers.
Right.
So if we're living those and breathing those competencies and those operating principles day by day, it means that we're showing up in a way that is going to be respectful to our customers as well.
Sure. So what efforts does Ting take with its employees as it relates to the residents here in the village?
Yeah, so I think it's really important that, the people that are joining the team here specifically for Laguna Woods Village, that they bring a level of compassion, that they're patient, that they're understanding, that they're able to relate well to others, that they're able to have, kind of good conversations, and have some empathy around some of the changes that are obviously going to be happening. And that's really important. And so as we build the team, we want to make sure that we've got great skills and experience and great knowledge, but at the same time that we've got people that can relate well to the residents here.
Absolutely.
So
and you
important.
bring a really strong workplace culture
Yes.
with the employees as well. What does that look like?
Yeah, so a lot of it, as I say, kind of stems from our operating principles, but it's really kind of anchored around things like trust and honesty and respect and collaboration. And we're all accountable and we show up for each other in a way that demonstrates those kind of qualities every day. And if we can have teams of people that bring those levels of qualities and value systems, then when we're interacting with our customers and the communities in which we operate, then it really does set a standard.
Right. Yeah. And why do you think Ting loves and the employees love being here in Laguna Woods Village?
Oh, it's just such a happy place. It's beautiful, and I think that it allows them to bring their personality to work. I think that's going to be really important because, they're not going to be, a faceless individual. They are going to be interacting with the community, and they can bring their personality and they can bring their heart to work, and that's really important for people.
Right. And Karis, where's home for you?
So I'm actually based in Vancouver, Canada, so just a little bit further north from here. But I get the luxury of being able to travel to all of our different sites. So it's great to be in California when I can.
Yes. Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to see you again very soon. I know you're leaving tonight.
Yes, but I'll be back for sure.
Okay.
Hopefully with some more sunshine next time.
Yes. Well, come in July.
Okay.
Late July.
Deal.
Wonderful meeting you. Thank
And
you for
you.
everything that you and your team are doing. It's fabulous.
It's great
Can't
to
wait.
be here. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. You're watching This Day on Village TV. We'll be back after these messages.
For over 20 years, Orange County has taken its unwanted gold, jewelry, timepieces, sterling silver, and coins to the Jewelry Box estate buyers and always received top dollar. Come see why for over 2 decades, Orange County has relied on the Jewelry Box estate buyers.
Let's talk about our Friday movie, and it's a great one. It's Cinderella Man, starring Russell Crowe and Renee Zellweger. It's going to be brought to us by City of Hope, and it's going to be 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. Great movie, real true life story from the Depression. Hey, tomorrow on the program, we've got a great one for you as well. We have RadNet coming in and the Boomers. They're still waking up from their big party they had, and they're going to tell us all about it. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at Village Television, we help you make this day a great one.